Good evening and welcome back to the Rory Talks Arsenal YouTube channel. Welcome back to the Arsenal Transfer Room Live. It is a Monday. The Premier League is up and running. Arsenal have 3 points on the board, but now we need to get moving. Sales needed. A left winger needed. We're going to talk about it. Loads of you in the chat already. You love to see it. I hope you're all doing well at the start of this week. Emilio, good to see you. Ethan Udall, Ryan Henderson, Sam Sogi, Pekka, Zach, Lee, Lucas, good to see you. Logical Nonsense is here as well. Nid, the best Firefox. How are we? I'm currently bedridden after breaking my ankle today. Not an ideal Monday. I hope that gets better. Broken ankle's a tough one. Football is indeed back. Football is back. And the thing is, we've won the opening game of the season away at Old Trafford, and yet, I don't know, there just seems to be a lot of negativity knocking around. Ryan, good to see you. VV Vlad, I hope you're well. Last night's game was not a fun watch. It wasn't, but it kind of was because we won. So it was quite enjoyable. But no, look, we're going to be talking about these Semenyo links. We'll be talking about any other potential left wingers that we could move for. And we're going to be talking about sales. We need a fire sale at this point. If you actually look at the players that missed out on yesterday's matchday squad, we're going to talk about it. But like the amount of wages that we're paying for players that may not actually feature for Arsenal this season if we don't get rid of them is pretty bad. The fan base will never fail to overreact. No, of course. And look, there's always a balance, you know. Winning away at Old Trafford is never, ever a bad result, let alone opening day of the season, let alone when you play like that. But of course, there were things that were like a little bit worrying, you know. I wish Madueke scored that chance at the end. I feel that would have been great for his confidence. Yeah, to be fair, I actually I didn't realize that was it Bruno that was tracking back had actually got like a slight touch on it. I thought Madueke had kind of just missed the tap in, but it took a deflection, so it wasn't as bad as I thought. What do you think of Mark Goldbridge? I think he's hilarious. Like, Mark Goldbridge is an entertainer at the end of the day. Like, he is an entertainer, and he makes me laugh. So, fair play to him. Arsenal fan of 39 years, and I'm not even slightly panicked. There were good signs. Winning was the goal. Yeah, 100%. 100%. We'll talk about the game in a bit. By the way, if you're watching on TikTok, I appreciate you. Feel free to jump over to the YouTube channel. That is where I'm reading the YouTube chat. So if you are in the TikTok chat, I'm probably not going to see what you're saying. But I appreciate you watching, and spam the like button, the screen. That helps. Also, if you're on YouTube, please do subscribe. We're closing in on 23,000 subscribers. And if you could click the like button, I would be massively grateful. All the negativity misses me completely. No Twitter, no Facebook. I highly recommend it. I mean, I would love to avoid all of that social media, but unfortunately, it is my job. So we're in a position where we can't really avoid it. Some fans are so reactionary. It's one game, we'll be better. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Do you have tickets for Arsenal v Man City? Not yet. I will, though. I'll find a way. I always find a way. Look, let's get into this Semenyo thing so we can get it out of the way. It came from Indy Kyler, right? And I don't know. I think I started giving Indy Kyler a bit too much credit, to be honest with you. So they said Antoine Semenyo just signed a 1-year extension with Bournemouth, but that hasn't stopped Arsenal making inquiries. Bournemouth is left scratching their heads, wondering why Arsenal are leaving it so late in the window as finding a replacement at this stage is near impossible. Semenyo himself is totally keen on making the move to Arsenal. That's the second time that he's used that exact phrase about Arsenal. He used it with Rodrigo the other day. They're left scratching their heads. Like, I think he's waffling. He has undoubtedly had a couple of exclusives. Almost all the exclusives he's had, other than Belabor, have been Liverpool ones. And I just think when it comes to Arsenal now, he's just yapping. Like no one else has mentioned Semenyo at all. Even after the Rodrigo thing that he said a few days ago, no one else had mentioned Rodrigo. And even 2 days ago, Ben Jacobs, 2 days ago, unrelatedly, replied to someone's comment about Semenyo to Arsenal. And he said, I haven't mentioned Semenyo and Arsenal for many weeks. That was a piece that I wrote in May. Nothing is developing there. He signed a new 5-year deal, and he is definitely not leaving. So the Semenyo one, as nice as it would have been, is not going to happen. Zach Jameson, thank you very, very much for becoming a member of the channel. Welcome, welcome. Enjoy the green name. I appreciate the support. As always, all of the membership money goes straight back into the channel, so I do massively appreciate it. And Zach, you now get to enjoy the use of the emojis, the Rory Talks emojis. So that is good. Semenyo just signed a new deal, so it would take a lot to get him out. Yeah, it would. And if you look at what these clubs are doing now, like, I don't know if you saw it today, Johan Visser, Brentford have now hiked his price up to 60 million, which is like, they would have let him go for 50 million earlier in the window. Apparently, they also told him last summer that they would let him go for 26 million this summer if a bid came in. You get to this point in the window, everyone is just ramping up the prices. So, yeah. And when you look at how Semenyo started the season, 2 goals against Liverpool, like, it would be a crazy price. Crazy price. Rory, can you slap your bum in front of the camera if Tottenham are shit? No, Gavin. Unfortunately, I cannot do that. Get yourselves over to Big Up for the watch-alongs, people. Yeah. By the way, the next Big Up watch-along will be City versus Spurs. Lunchtime kickoff on Saturday. We'll do a watch-along for that, and then I'll basically head out to the Arsenal game. So that works out quite well. We have the best defense in the world. We just need an attacking player. I agree. Very happy with the gritty performance. We will improve for sure. Yeah, we will talk about the game after we've got through all the transfer stuff. But ultimately, yeah, the Semenyo links, not going to happen. And this is the thing, like, we're just not really being linked to a left winger at this point. You see what's happening with Eze, almost definitely moving to Spurs. Kind of felt like yesterday was his last game. Apparently, Daniel Levy and Steve Parish are having conversations today. So we've lost out on Eze to Spurs, which is just like, don't get me wrong, I actually don't think Eze is the optimal solution for what we're trying to do. I think an out-and-out left winger is more what we need right now. And I can understand, like, if he was the replacement for Waneri, if we were worried about losing Waneri, fair enough. But, like, if we don't go for a left winger and he goes to Spurs, I mean, I honestly think Kudus is the one that got away. Kudus to Spurs for 55 mil is such good value. And I just think we should have been there. That was the one. Carl, thank you very, very much for being a member for 2 months. Absolute legend. You should now have a new little cannon icon next to your name. I feel like Indy Kyler might have sold his account, but still wants to keep some of the gimmick going. A lot of nonsense like that, head scratching. I agree. And I deleted some of the stuff out of that quote that had nothing to do with the actual, like, link, but was just waffle. Where it's almost like he's trying to be like a TV host or something. So yeah, it's a bit. I don't think he's got a Scooby, to be honest with you. Should have done Kudus instead of Madueke. Similar fees. Yeah, I don't disagree. But we should have done Kudus on top of Madueke. That's what I actually think. Should have done Kudus on top of Madueke. We need sales though. Like we desperately need sales. You look at the squad yesterday, right? Other than Jesus, who's injured, Jakub Kivior not in the squad, Zinchenko not in the squad, Norgard not in the squad, Vieira not in the squad, Sambi Lokonga not in the squad, Reece Nelson not in the squad. Between those players, you're looking at like what? Probably like £500,000-700,000 a week in wages for players that aren't in the squad, and they're not going to be in the squad unless we get injuries. Now, you probably need, obviously, Norgard, right? Not in the squad, but he will be the second that there's an injury. You've also got to factor in throwing in Max Dowman. You know, Max Dowman travelled, wasn't in the matchday squad, but he's going to break into the squad sooner rather than later. So at that point, then you're looking at, you would have to assume Trossard dropping out of the squad as well. The 6-7 thing again. God, I got me again with the 6-7, and I still don't know what it means. So it's a bit of an interesting one. They said on Sky that Norgard had a minor knee injury. Yeah, but either way, if Norgard was in the squad, you'd be looking at what, like probably Mosquera maybe dropping out of it, given that Timber and Miles Lewis-Skelly were the ones that came on. But it's still a new player, so that's someone we expect will feature. But ultimately, we have to get these players off the books, but no one's there for them. And the problem is, right, we have a bunch of players that aren't good enough for us that we're trying to sell. Chelsea have a bunch of players that aren't good enough for them that they're trying to sell. Man United have a bunch of players that aren't good enough for them that they're trying to sell. The supply of like low-end players that are at big clubs on decent wages is huge. There's a huge supply of it. And there's very little demand for it, other than from like Turkey or a handful of other clubs. And we're seeing that. I mean, Manchester United, they've agreed deals with both Roma and Besiktas now for Jadon Sancho. They've agreed club to club. And then Sancho's just not agreed to move because they won't offer him the same wages. And that's what we're struggling with as well. So again, we've had a few links today. Jordan Davies saying that Arsenal have been told by Stuttgart to lower their demands for Fabio Vieira. The Germans only want to pay a maximum of £17 million, including add-ons. 17 mil, including add-ons. While Arsenal are eyeing a deal closer to 25 million. Stuttgart are ready to move on to other targets if talks break down. And that's the thing. They can threaten to move on to other targets, and the threat is legit because there are so many other players available. Then we had this from Tomasz Wlodarczyk, I think his name is, who's a big Polish journalist. He said Jakub Kiwior may leave Arsenal. Today, he's out of the matchday squad versus Manchester United. Talks regarding a transfer are ongoing. Porto sent an official offer in July. It's very likely that that could be the move. The Dragons haven't given up on this matter. Kiwior wants to leave England. So again, nothing even remotely close to Kiwior. And the offer that they came in with, by the way, in July was nowhere near what Kiwior should be being sold for. John Cross saying Leandro Trossard is most likely to leave Arsenal currently, with Brentford, Aston Villa, and several foreign clubs having shown an interest in the winger. So, you know, again, but these aren't happening. Like these links, you know, Vieira to Stuttgart, Kiwior to Porto, Trossard potentially leaving. These have been here since July. We're now, 18 days into August. And it's not happening. And we are going to get to the point where there's going to be an insane amount of business in the final couple of weeks. We're into the final couple of weeks of the window. It's going to be carnage. But by the time all of that is said and done, you're not going to then use that money to go and get a big left winger. Like you're not going to convince Bournemouth on deadline day to let Semenyo go. You're not going to convince Madrid to let Rodrigo go, probably. I mean, I'm still holding on to that dream. I'm still holding on to the dream of Rodrigo. Like Ozil-esque. Like it's an Ozil. Deadline day, Rodrigo. That's the dream. But I don't think it's going to happen. And actually on Rodrigo, Xabi Alonso said today on Rodrigo, there are many rumors this summer, but I've seen him and I count on everyone. I count on Rodrigo for sure, 100%. David Ornstein then said Arsenal have been heavily linked to Rodrigo, but I do not know of any activity on that one, even though they have looked into it in the past. And Ornstein also, before our game yesterday, said Arsenal have a lot of PSR headroom, so they could do more, but they're tight on the UEFA financial fair play rules, which felt very much... it felt very much like he's been told by the club to settle down on any Arsenal expectations of making another signing. Because there had been a thing that had come out from Kieran Maguire, who's like a football finance expert, saying that Arsenal had a load of PSR headroom. And then Ornstein comes out like basically the next day saying, well, yeah, they do, but they're tight on UEFA financial fair play rules. So that feels like the club are trying to lower expectations. The thing with those UEFA financial fair play rules, the penalty is a fine. So who cares? Like Chelsea just stomached a massive fine. They don't care. And I still feel like that big top left winger is the difference between us potentially winning major trophies and not. You know, again, yesterday, like, you know, Martinelli was good defensively. He offered everything defensively that we know he's going to offer, but going forwards, struggled, really didn't capitalize on any of the sort of opportunities that he had. In fairness, right, and for balance, I also didn't think Saka looked great yesterday. But I know how good Saka is and is when he's at his best. With Martinelli, I've not seen that since 22-23. Madueke comes on, left wing. Still haven't seen enough of him on the left wing to really judge it yet. But it's still not the case that he's coming on and you're going, wow. You know? In the way that, like, and it's different because Man United yesterday are better than Wolves, but you look at the way, like, Tijani Reinders looked for Man City. That's the sort of impact you want. Martinelli is worse than Kieran Tierney playing on the left. As a left winger, he's that bad. In fairness, like, Kieran Tierney offered something different off the left wing. Ronell, I appreciate that. I appreciate the kind words. Thank you. Nid has gifted a membership. Nid, thank you very, very much. What an absolute legend. If you have just been gifted that membership by Nid, please do make sure to thank him in the chat. What an absolute goat Nid is. I want Rodrigo, Leao, or Rodgers, maybe Yildiz. Rodgers is going nowhere because they've sold Jacob Ramsey. So that was the sale that they needed to make. Rodrigo, don't think is going anywhere. Leao, who said it the other day that Leao just definitely isn't leaving AC Milan? One of the big journalists said that the other day. And Kenan Yildiz, I don't think Kenan Yildiz will go anywhere either. Juventus see him as the jewel in the crown at Juve. I would love him. I would love Kenan Yildiz, but I don't think it's going to happen. So yeah, we're left with, what are we left with, you know, in terms of left-wing options? Not a lot. Not a lot. Like Malik Fofana. I'm not even convinced Malik Fofana is like a major upgrade. Like, he's a decent left winger, but yeah, it was Fabrizio that said Leao's never been a target for Arsenal. Semenyo for Trossard and Nelson. Yeah, the problem is those deals just never happen. Like, it sounds great on paper, right? We take Semenyo, we give them Trossard and Reece Nelson, gives them a bit of extra attacking depth, 2 high-level players, but I just don't see it. Please buy Jackson. I hate the fact that Garnacho, Nicholas Jackson, players like that, they are going to be available on the cheap in the next 2 weeks. Like, I mean, Nicholas Jackson still has 8 years left on his contract at Chelsea, by the way. Nicholas Jackson's contract runs until 2033. But they're going to be the sort of players that approaching deadline day, if they haven't moved, are really going to be available for cheap. Eze's going to Spurs. Eze's going to Spurs. I wish we could move for him. I mean, like I said, I still don't think he's the best left wing option, but I think they just end up leaving on loan. Maybe, but there's a cap on how many players you can loan out, I think, especially to other teams in the league. Lookman's the only one I can realistically see happening. Yeah, Lookman is still an option, but even with Lookman, didn't we recently see that Arsenal aren't really interested? Well, we've never really been linked to him. I keep linking us to Lookman, but that doesn't really count. Madueke is the left-wing signing, but people aren't ready for it. But he can't be the left-wing signing because he's also the right-wing backup, unless Max Dalman is coming in as right-wing backup this season. So he can't be both. I'm praying that Indy and Kiko guy are right. I just don't think they are. I think the Rodrigo stuff, I think, was legit earlier in the season. I really do think that the Rodrigo interest was there because it wasn't just that Kiko guy. It was Hand of Arsenal. It was like, I think there was interest. But Nwaneri is Erdegaard's backup. This is the exact problem we ended up with last season. That's not enough players to cover what you need them to cover. You can't have Nwaneri covering right wing and you can't have one player covering both Saka and Erdegaard. That is the exact problem that we had. Hand of Arsenal said Arsenal had interest. Yeah, we did. We 100% had interest in Rodrigo. We also had big interest in Eze, but it's all fallen apart. We have enough. Any players cut game time and development from Dalman and Nwaneri? But I don't care about like giving a pathway to Nwaneri and Dalman. I mean, Max Dalman will break into the Arsenal team because he's good enough to do it. But neither of them play off the left. And I don't think Madueke has been brought in to play off the left. Was one of our best players in pre-season. Why wasn't Damon in the squad? Because he's 15. Like, don't get me wrong, he looked excellent in pre-season. Taking a 15-year-old to Old Trafford. The problem is you have to look at, like, are you actually going to use this player? So everyone that was on the bench yesterday could have been used, possibly. I just don't know if you would bring Max Dowman on in that environment. I don't think it'd be sensible to do it. There you go. Charlie Howells is the one that got the membership from NID. You'll have to see it. Who got surgery? Who are you talking about, Buzz Outdoors? Kuti signed a new contract. Spurs' defense is going to be stronger than Arsenal's. I don't really see how a defender that they already had signing a new deal is going to make their defense stronger than Arsenal's. They've not signed any defenders. So I don't really understand. I'm super pissed about losing to United yesterday. Didn't see the game, but checked Twitter after the game. What was the score? Yeah, look, the thing is, right, people want to have it every way. We played them at home in the FA Cup, played them off the park, created an insane amount of chances, lost the game on penalties, and obviously people are fuming about it. But then we beat them in the opposite sort of way yesterday, and people are still fuming about it. Like, of course, in a dream world, we rock up at Old Trafford yesterday, we play them off the park, we beat them 3-0, and we're all on cloud 9. That's not always football, right? Liverpool played at home to Bournemouth, who had an absolutely decimated back four, and they needed a late winner. It's opening game of the season doesn't always go the way that you want it to. And we had by far the hardest game out of Palace. Out of Chelsea, who had Palace, Liverpool, and City. Old Trafford was by far the hardest fixture, and we came out with a win. So, what did you think of Gyökeres' performance? I feel the hate he's getting us over the top. Yeah, this is the thing. Like, obviously, there's a huge amount of people that desperately want Gyökeres to fail and flop because they hate Arsenal, and it would be funny, right? Did he have a good game? Absolutely not. Did we play to his strengths? Absolutely not. Were there times where he did have opportunities, but it didn't come off for him? Yes. Is it going to take him time to get up to speed? Yes. You got to remember, like, he didn't have most of preseason. He wasn't with Sporting in preseason. So, yeah, he's rusty. But yeah, of course, there's been an overreaction from people outside the fan base. I don't really care what people outside the fan base are saying, though. In hindsight, the way that we played yesterday suited Kai Havertz. The way that we played and the way that United played and the way the game ended up going, that was a Kai Havertz game, which is why Kai Havertz came on in the 59th minute. And I felt like we looked better once he did come on in a way. I think Leeds will be much more suited to Gyökeres. So hopefully he starts again on Saturday. Jonathan Morley used to be all right for a rival fan. Now he's turned into one of the most insufferable people out there. What happened? I don't know. Really. Huge win for Arsenal because I think people are underestimating how good Man U will be this season, but some issues need to be fixed if challenging for the title. Yeah, look, there's a few things, right? First of all, United under Amorim last season were actually decent against the bigger teams. If you actually look back at their results, they caused us problems last season. They caused Liverpool problems last season, City. It was also Old Trafford opening game of the season. We definitely looked nervous. Like, we did definitely look uncomfortable. But like you said, United look much better. I think they will be much improved this season. And we came away with 3 points. I mean, how many times have we won in the league at Old Trafford in the Premier League? I think we've only won like 4 times at Old Trafford in the Prem. Out of however many, 30 odd occasions. We've won 4. And I'm pretty sure Arteta's 3 of them. Or 2 of them. But either way, I'll take it. I'll take it. How's FPL going? Terribly. FPL's gone absolutely terribly. My front 3 in FPL, Mateta, blank. Pedro, blank. Gyökeres, blank. Behind them in midfield, Palmer, blank. Saka, blank. Who's my other one? Marmouche, blank. Didn't even start. I benched Gabriel because I thought we were going to concede. Obviously, he got a clean sheet. It's an absolute stinker. Absolute stinker. On TikTok, didn't you say that you take a 1-0 win? Yeah. I was looking back at it. The preview video that I did on YouTube, if you go towards the end of the preview video on YouTube, I literally said Man United's best chance to beat us will be if they attack us, which, to be fair, I think they did, and that did give them the best chance of beating us. And I said that I thought it would be a low-scoring game, and I thought we would win 1-0. That was literally what I predicted on the preview, that we would win 1-0. I did predict, well, I hoped that it would be a Victor Gyökeres goal, but no, I nailed the prediction, to be honest. Let's not act like Arsenal were good. Don't look comfortable on the ball, neither competing with City and Liverpool. Well, I don't know what part of that was me pretending that Arsenal looked good. I've not acted Arsenal were good at all. We weren't. But you say neither competing with City and Liverpool. Liverpool didn't look good against Bournemouth. So, you know, I don't, and City looked good, but against an absolutely rancid Wolves team. And it's also game week 1. If you're drawing conclusions from game week 1 and saying X is going to happen because of game week 1, you're off your nally. You're absolutely off your nally. Madueke looked way better than Martinelli. Did he? I can't really think of anything major that Madueke did, if I'm honest. I think our transfer window is over. Yeah, I'm getting the feeling that our transfer window is over, to be honest. The vibe I'm getting, when you look at the lack of genuine links that we have to players now, you look at our options that are moving on or staying, you look at things like what Ornstein's saying in terms of, you know, being tight on UEFA financial fair play rules. It's all getting the feeling that we're done and we just need sales. So, can't believe that United fans are moaning about the corner we scored from when 2 of our players were being manhandled by United players who weren't even looking at the ball. It is nonsense. Man United fans complaining about that. Don't get me wrong. Like, would I be complaining about it? Probably. But the fact is, well, there's 2 things, right? On the same corner, like, Mateus Cunha is facing away from where the corner's coming, and he's, like, bear-hugging Zubimendi, right? So that's a penalty. If it's a foul on Bayinde, it's a penalty to Zubimendi. But equally, 20, 30 minutes later, United get a corner. They try doing exactly the same thing to David Raya. Mateus de Ligt does exactly what Saliba did to David Raya. David Raya punches it clear. So, and Liverpool still scored 4. That's the reason Arsenal have fell short. Score, then let the opposition side press them. Inviting pressure will make you lot concede. Yeah, Liverpool were at home against a Bournemouth team who have lost 4 of their back 5 from last season. It's just not comparable. You could look at it the other way and go, Arsenal can grind out 1-0 wins. Liverpool conceded 2 goals at home to Bournemouth and had to rely on the last-minute winner to get the points. Like, you can literally just angle it whichever way you want. It's nonsensical. Do you play FPL? Yeah, I play FPL. It's gone terribly. It's gone terribly. We should get Barcola. Definitely not available this summer. As much as again, I would absolutely take Barcola. Definitely not. Although, who's the player that they are willing to let go? I think I saw that they might be willing to let is it Kang Lee? Is that his name? Kang Lee in? I think that's his name. Apparently they're willing to let him go. Scored a brilliant goal against Spurs, but not too sure. How many points in FPL did you get? I think I got like 41. It was a stinker. I had a Bob Sanchez clean sheet. I had an Ike Nori clean sheet. And I had Kudus with 2 assists. That was it. Did I hear about the Crystal Palace bid for Kivior? I haven't seen that anywhere. I haven't seen that anywhere. Let me try and find it. I haven't. Kivior. I mean, it would make sense if they're going to lose. Genuinely, if they're going to lose Mark Gahey, Kivior would make so much sense. No. Literally, the only thing. There was a thing yesterday from Court Offside saying Jakub Kivior is a target for Crystal Palace, Everton, and Wolves. And there was a thing 2 days earlier from Arsenal Press, which is a fake parody account that literally the whole purpose of the account is to pump out fake news. And they said Crystal Palace are preparing a bid. I hate those accounts, by the way. Especially like they've taken it from like the NBA, where they have like Centel, which is like funny fake news, right? They do fake stories that are funny. There are now these ones like Arsenal Press. I think there's one called Liverpool Press, where they just make up stories. Like they're not funny stories. It's literally just like they just make things up. It's I can't stand them. Ollie, thank you very, very much for the 20 sec. Rivals seem more nervous about Gyökeres than we are. Yeah, but look, of course they want him to fail. Like, that's the thing. And they'll clip him up and all the rest of it. We just didn't play to his strengths. It was frustrating. Like, every time we went long and high to Gyökeres, when we know that is a weakness of his, right? When he's under the ball and there's no movement and he's got a centre-back on his back, he doesn't often win those. And we saw that time and time again. When we played it into the channels and in behind, he had a far better chance. There were a couple of times where he bodied De Ligt from those opportunities, but we weren't really doing that. And that was where, the whole game plan, it just kind of fell apart a little bit because we were trying to play it out from the back, but we were really struggling. We looked shaky. So then we had to start going long, but the way we were going long just wasn't working. And that was why I genuinely wanted us at one point to bring Havertz on at left wing. Like, I genuinely, and I still stand by that. I think if we brought on Havertz at left wing, we could have gone long diagonally to Havertz and let him get the flick-ons to Gyökeres running in behind. I think that would have worked really well. But we didn't do that. And eventually we brought Havertz on and it made it a bit easier. But to be fair, I would say as well, playing a single striker against a back three generally just makes life difficult anyway, especially if your wingers aren't moving inside, which Saka and Martinelli didn't really do. It just makes it too easy because there's just nowhere for Gyökeres to go. Like, if he tries to drag De Ligt anywhere, De Ligt just hands him off to Yoro. So, or to Luke Shaw. So, yeah, it was... I don't know. I just feel like the game plan didn't really work. But we still won, which is the main thing. Have you seen AFC stuff post where John Cross said Arteta still wants a left wing option? Well, I hope he's right, but we're running out of them. We're running out of left wing options. Saka isn't looking good at all. Yeah, he didn't look great, to be fair. He didn't look great. But I've got faith that he'll be fine. He'll still be getting up to speed. We will improve against Leeds for sure. Trust me, Gyökeres will score against Leeds. I hope so. I do hope so. I'm just looking at like these players that we need to sell, and I just don't know where they're going to go. Zinchenko. The interest in him has died. Also, like, most of the links that we've had have either been Fenerbahce or Besiktas. But like I said, there are multiple clubs that need to sell multiple players. They can't all go to Fenerbahce and Besiktas. Zinchenko, don't know where he's going to go. Kivior, don't know where he's going to go. Fabio Vieira, don't know where he's going to go. Lokonga. Have we had any links to Lokonga? No. And even Reece Nelson. Reece Nelson should be at Fulham, but that still hasn't even happened. It's the high wages. Yeah, it's the high wages. It's the high wages, 100%. Which is the exact same reason that United can't shift Sancho and, various other deals aren't happening. Who are even the left wings available anymore? It depends what you mean by available, I guess. Like, Lookman is definitely still both available and wants to leave Atalanta. Other than that, like, unless we find a way to go and get Rodrigo out of Madrid, there just aren't that many. There just aren't many. Do you really need Semenyo? I would like Semenyo. I would like Semenyo. We're 130 YouTube subscribers away from 23,000 subscribers. So if you're not subscribed, please do make sure to subscribe. We will reach 23K before long. Would you rather see Martinelli leave for 60 to 70 mil or Trossard for 25? I think at this point I'd let Martinelli go. But no one's gonna bid that for him, by the way. Like, this is why Luis Diaz has gone to Bayern for what, like 70 mil, but we can't sell the Martinelli because Martinelli's already on 200 grand a week. Diaz was on nowhere near that. Hand of Arsenal post still stands, and I'm holding out on it. We can dream. We can dream. Is the Semenyo thing a dream or concrete? No, I think it's nonsense. I think the Semenyo thing's nonsense. It came from Indy Kyler, and I don't think Indy Kyler has a clue what they're talking about when it comes to Arsenal. To be honest, from what I've seen recently, Indy Kyler's basically just been like taking the players that Arsenal fans are talking about and hyping and turning it into a rumor. That is honestly the impression that I get. Why are rival fans so obsessed with Arteta and Arsenal? I don't really know. Like, it is genuinely bizarre. Some of the content that I see people making about Arsenal, I'm like, you just would not make that about any other club. Like, it is just weird. Which left wing do you think is realistic for Arsenal? Lookman is the one that for me makes the most sense in terms of, I wouldn't even call him Premier League proven because I don't think he was good enough last time he played in the Premier League, but he's played in the Premier League. He's proven himself at Atalanta. He will be fairly cheap. He's in his prime. That would be one for me. Random question. Anderson from Forest or Wharton from Palace? Oh, Wharton from Palace a million times over. For sure. The only thing is, it'd be pointless because we've got Zubamendi. Would you try one area at left wing? I'd consider it, yeah. I would consider it. I'd try anything at left wing right now. And don't get me wrong, in a game like yesterday, I think I said in the preview, fully understand Arteta picking Martinelli for a game like yesterday because his defensive work rate is solid. And he proved that yesterday. There were genuinely moments where Martinelli tracked back, won the ball, did well. But, there comes a point where, your left winger being good defensively isn't really perfect. Do you think Palace will crumble if/when Gahey goes? No, actually. I actually don't think they will. Palace's recruitment is really, really good. They will definitely replace Eze with someone. I think they've been linked to Bilal El Khanous. I think that'd be a really good signing for them. And again, with Mark Gahey, I mean, there was a period at the end of, I think it was the end of 23-24. They went on a really good run with Glasner, without Gahey. So, look, of course it wouldn't be ideal for them, but they'll get the money, they'll reinvest it. I think they'll be all right. We should have got Adeyemi instead of Madueke. I don't know. Adeyemi's never really looked good enough for me. Adeyemi's another player like Martinelli in terms of like, he's got that insane raw pace. I don't think his end product is good enough for Arsenal. Imagine Lookman, Dalman. Nearly got me. Oh, well, I mean, I guess Seaman. Which do you reckon had the best window? Which team do you reckon had the best window? Sunderland. To be honest with you, I think Sunderland have had the best window. But if you're talking in terms of like the teams that we're competing with, I mean, look, I don't think until Liverpool bring in a centre back, can it be them? Especially because they haven't done Isak yet. Like, if they bring in Isak and a centre back, it's Liverpool, hands down, absolutely no question about it. Without Isak and without the centre back, I know they've brought that 18-year-old centre back in. But, you know, you look at their defence. I mean, Konate and Van Dijk look a bit shaky as it is, let alone if they lose them for any sort of period of time with an injury. I probably would say Chelsea, to be honest. I think João Pedro's really good. I think Delap was a really good value signing. I think Gittins is great. They got Hato, which pained me quite a lot. So yeah, I would maybe say them. Anthony Gordon, although unlikely, is still an option. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I would be interested. Freddie said Gyökeres left wing, Havertz striker. I would genuinely be interested to see them play a game together. I would. Just let them both sort of switch and rotate between like striker. It's not really left wing, but yeah, I would be interested. Opinions on the starting fullbacks yesterday confused me. Calafiori made sense to me. I think in Arteta's head, Calafiori is, when fit, is better than Miles Lewis-Skelly for what we want from our left back. I do genuinely think Arteta believes that. White over Timber, I think, was probably more of a fitness thing. You've got to think Timber was the player that, because even with like Gabriel and stuff, even though they got injured and then they came back later in the preseason, Timber was out for most of preseason with that ankle surgery. So he is literally just getting back up to speed. I thought Ben White played well. I thought Ben White had a good game. I thought it was the right time for him to come off when he did. Same with Calafiori. But I'll tell you what, the ability to do that, I think, is unbelievable. Like the ability to swap both of your fullbacks out for Lewis-Skelly and Timber. That's such good depth. Same with the ability to bring on Mosquera if we had needed to be honest. Kudus could definitely become best signing. I don't disagree. I thought, look, if you've been following this channel for a long time, you'll remember even going back to 22, 23. Before he joined West Ham, I was very keen on Kudus. Prediction for the next 5 games. Beat Leeds at home. Draw at Anfield, beat Forest at home, beat Newcastle away, beat West Ham. Bosh. Oh, no, wait. No, I've missed one there, haven't I? Who have I missed within that? Leeds win, Anfield draw, Forest. Do we play Forest? Yeah, we play Forest, right? Who am I missing? City. Oh, City. Draw. Draw against City. That's what I'm going for. Do you think Palace go for Kivior if Gahey leaves? Yeah, maybe. It would definitely be an option for them. By the way, says a huge amount about Fabio Vieira that isn't an option for them. Don't get me wrong, he's not like an El Canus or an Eze type player to an extent, but no one in the Premier League is looking at Vieira. Noah, thank you very, very much for the €2.49 super chat. Crusty Socceres, ain't it? Love you though, Rory, top guy. Well, I appreciate the kind words, Noah. Crazy slander name for Gyökeres, and I just hope he proves you wrong. I think in the right games, when we play the right way, Gyökeres will score a lot of goals. But yesterday just wasn't the game for him. Do you think West Ham could go down? They look so poor and don't have much PSR in sign players. Yeah, West Ham are in danger. West Ham are in, like, depending on... I'm really interested to watch the game tonight between Everton and Leeds. I want to see how good Leeds are because I think Everton are going to be quite good this season. I want to see how good Leeds are, but West Ham, I mean, the one thing that might save West Ham is that I think Brentford are going to look shaky, and I think Wolves are going to look shaky as well. So, yeah, it'll be interesting. It will be interesting. Thoughts on Noosa? I think Noosa failed a medical at another Premier League club last summer, maybe. I don't even know if he's good enough, to be fair, but he did struggle. Calafiori left wing. Calafiori can play anywhere, by the way. Absolutely anywhere. Thoughts on Sesko's debut? He didn't really do much. I loved it when Big Gabby won that aerial duel, that first aerial duel against him. He didn't do much. To be honest, I really think that was a bad use of money for United. Like, I really think they should have used the Sesko money to get Baleba. And just this season, Cunha and Mbuemo are good enough that they will score plenty of goals this season. Throw in like Mason Mount as a false nine, I thought had a really good game. I think Bruno Fernandes could do that job as well. I think Joshua Zirkzee can do that job and is a little bit underrated. Like, I don't feel like they needed Sesko this summer, whereas they needed Baleba this summer. I think that was a mistake, to be honest. And if you bring in Sesko, like that to start, that means you're benching Mason Mount. I thought he was one of their best players yesterday. Unless Mason Mount goes into the midfield. But then the midfield can't be Mount and Bruno. So then do you bench Bruno? In which case, why didn't you take over 100 mil for Bruno from Saudi? I don't know. Would Harvey Elliott work at Arsenal? Not for me. I don't think Harvey Elliott's good enough. He looked great at the under-21 Euros, but there's a reason that Liverpool are looking to sell him. What lineup do you want to see versus Leeds? Pretty much same again. Only Madueke left wing or Waneri left wing. Other than that, I'd pretty much go same again. Nid, thank you very, very much for another gifted membership. Nid is on fire. If you've just been gifted a membership by Nid, please do make sure to thank him in the chat. What a goat. What a goat. Do you think Mainu leaves? Yeah, possibly. I do think, but again, wages. I think they gave Mainu a 200 grand a week contract, and he's barely played since. I think. They were definitely talking about giving him a new contract. So if he signed a new one, it was like 200 grand a week. There you go. Vindy is the one that has been gifted by Nid. You'll have to see it. You'll have to see it. Anyway, look, this is going to be the end of the stream. We will have a quiz question for those that like to stay for the quiz question. But for the rest of you, I appreciate you watching. I hope you have a fantastic Monday evening. I think the stream tomorrow will probably be later. I'm filming a podcast in London tomorrow. So I think I might be home quite late. So I might do a stream later in the evening tomorrow. If not, there'll probably be a YouTube video. But look, please do like and subscribe before you jump off. And for those that are staying for the quiz question, we will get into it. Can't wait to not have a clue what the answer is again. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I do need some better quiz questions than this book is offering. But we've got what we've got. We've got what we've got. Let's go for... Problem is, I just don't want to... there are so many sections on, old managers and, the 1970s and stuff, and I'm just like, no one's going to get it. I should probably, highlight one of these before I start the stream. But we're at where we're at. We are at where we are at. There's just too much. There's just too much that's old stuff. And then the stuff that's not old stuff's super obvious. It's like I'm going to read some of them out. Right? So, like, Thomas Vermaelen left in 2014 to join which club? Too easy. I'll tell you what, we'll do this one. We'll do this one. This is slightly less easy. Here you go. Fingers on keyboards. On the 31st of August 2011, Arsenal signed German defender Per Mertesacker from which club? What club did Arsenal sign Per Mertesacker from? That's your question. I feel like that's quite easy, but not too easy. Mm-mm. Right, who got it first? Who got it first? Da-da-da-da-da-da. Oh, someone had a someone had a nightmare of an autocorrect, but we're going to give it to them. We're going to give it to them. The correct answer, and it's James Bidder, was indeed Werder Bremen, although it autocorrected to weren't Bremen. It actually was. It actually was Bremen. Congratulations to James Bidder. Carl was second. Ole was third. Welbs was fourth. And Tate was fifth. So there you go. Congratulations. I need to pre-plan the questions, and we need better ones. These ones just aren't good enough. But look, I appreciate you all for watching. I will be back tomorrow. Please like, please subscribe. Have a fantastic Monday evening, and I'll catch you on the next one. Until then, goodbye.